The Rhamph TLC is here, and it was met with some mixed reactions to say the least, which is understandable because I'm sure we all hoped for something else to release instead of that plague-carrying Sky Rat. But the developers did take to the Discord after to discuss this, explaining why they went with the Rhamph and potentially what we can expect in the next TLC for the game. So, let's talk about it. The main discussion during the Rhamph TLC release was about Rhamph, coincidentally because that was the hot topic at the time, and why it was chosen to be the TLC. And also, what is the status on Thalassodromeus itself? This was actually started by someone basically saying that the flying rework is a step closer to the Thalassodromeus TLC, and it was likely something that they had to be done before it. Now, of course, that probably wasn't what started it. There was probably loads of people commenting, why did Rhamph get a TLC in the Discord? But this is what the developers did first respond to. Matt himself responded to that comment by saying that the thal has some important changes in this patch for flying rework, probably pointing towards all the changes and updates to the flyers themselves and the flying system in the game. Another comment from a user shown confusion, as they said, well, they're confused. They like the changes, but they were shocked that the changes involving flight weren't done for Thalassodromeus, considering it's the game's first ever flyer. And the devs' response to this was simple. They can only do so many changes in a patch cycle, going on to admit that thal will take longer since it needs more work and needs its own patch cycle. But Matt also did say this. I can't answer this without everyone freaking out on speculation, but it makes sense to do more flyers after flying rework, no? I mean, anyone can figure that out. But yeah, I don't work on TLCs, so it's not up to me. But this is when the TLC god themselves turned up, Jiggy. And she added to this even further, basically saying that Thalassodromeus' TLC is definitely planned, but after looking at player feedback both with balancing and gameplay feel for our flyers, it was determined that we really needed the flight states to be updated before we could even work to make flying TLCs. This patch is really all about the flight rework, and it took a bunch of time to get done. Small maintenance update that improves a bunch of things under the hood, and not super noticeable by the average player, but with that done now, we can now work on TLCs for other flyers in the future. And yes, Thalassodromeus is definitely in the oven ready to be cooked, but I can't give an exact ETA or information for that TLC. Now this raises a key handful of points here. Thal TLC was planned, but they wanted to sort out the flyer system before they went and done that TLC. The patch was more about the flyer rework. Rhamph getting a TLC is more or less the cherry on top, and they can work on a new flyer TLC properly now that this patch is out. And they said thal is ready to be cooked. Now, what's my opinions on this? I think there's a good chance we'll see Thalasso as the next TLC. We might even see Hats get a TLC because it was name dropped in the flyer rework segment of the dev blog itself specifically, and Thalassodromeus was not. I think Thalasso is probably going to be the next one because it's most highly anticipated, but I could also see Hatzegopteryx being next because it probably will require less work than the Thalassodromeus. As I've mentioned before, we saw this with the Bone Break update, where following the Bone Break or the implementation of Fracture, we saw other TLCs around that style, like Daspletosaurus, Pachycephalosaurus, and Ceratosaurus as an example. Thal is likely the biggest flyer TLC in terms of gameplay because it lacks so much. So there's a high chance they want to take their time or already have an idea under the hood, or it might even be in some form of development, likely developing it alongside the flyer rework. And those are my opinions, my 4 opinions from that. So what's your thoughts? Has this settled your nerves since the Rhamph TLC has dropped? Has your opinion changed on the Rhamph since you've had given it a try? I'd love to know what you think. Now, there were 2 more points that I wanted to bring up before I end this video, because this video is going to be a very short one today. The 2 other points are a demo for PC and King of the Hill and where are the game modes. So let's firstly talk about the demo for PC, because this was asked in a user made ticket, basically saying the best version of the game is the PC version, and they're wondering if the developers could release a PC demo in the future. This was acknowledged by the developers, essentially saying that they will be considering doing a demo for PC in the future, but they do not have one right now. Now, do bear in mind, this doesn't guarantee that a PC demo will come. However, it does align with some previous comments the developers have made in the past about a potential PC demo. I think it was in the podcast. I'm not sure. I just remember it being said. I know General LDS, the Path of Titans helper, will probably correct me on this one. If you see this, hello, shout out to you. General LDS and all the other helpers are all really cool. That being said, the final thing I wanted to talk about was King of the Hill, because this is an interesting one. It was admitted by many comments from Matt that this is probably one of his favourite game modes. He's had a lot of fun playing it. He talked about it a lot. He played it a lot. And it was in testing earlier this year for quite a while. And then it seemingly disappeared and we haven't seen any new updates about it. Which is a shame because the game modes are one of my favourite features for this game as well. And a user called YMIR basically asked if there's any news on it, if it had been forgotten as a concept by the developers. And Matt said this: "It's not forgotten, just paused because I identified the team has issues working on too many things at once. So while it is still planned, it's not coming anytime soon, or well, in the immediate future. I'm not sure how far down the line game modes are in the pecking order. They could be, you know, after the next thing, or they could be quite far down. We don't actually know. The developers didn't specify that, so I'm equally not going to tell you where I think it's going to be because there might be some issues with misconstruing you guys, and then someone takes to the Discord and says that it's true because the developer said it, and it was just me giving an opinion. That being said, all we know is for now it's paused because there is a lot of different projects being worked on by the team right now. We don't know when it's going to come. It's just on pause. That's all we know. And there we have it, everybody. That is the dev comments for today. Just to wrap up the Rhamph TLC and everything, if you want to check out the Rhamph TLC video, it's on the screen, or check out the overview of the update itself. Now, I know this setup is really poor in its lighting. I look like I've just started YouTube for the first time. It's just a temporary setup. Moving on Saturday, so my desk and everything is packed up and already sent away. So yeah, next video hopefully will be in a new place. Will be quite interesting. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed. See you all in the next one. Have a great day and have a lovely weekend. Peace.